Exactly, and so there's so many different types of mushrooms, right? And so what got us into mushrooms was actually the oyster mushroom.
Yes.
And so one of my favorite breakfasts is chilaquiles, and typically chilaquiles come with a piece of steak, right, or something like that. We were in Mexico City, went at a restaurant called Los Losers, and they focused on mushrooms. And so when I got it, I had to call the waiter back, and I said, "Look, like, this looks like meat." And he's like, "No, it's rosetta, it's a mushroom." And I was just dumbfounded, right? Because, like Dan said, I had this experience with mushrooms that it was this slimy thing, that it was this, thing that came on a pizza, it came out of a can, right? And that thing blew our mind. It blew my mind for sure. So when we came back home, we started finding all kinds of different mushrooms and finding ways to work with them and integrating them into our diet. And so, this is a white button mushroom, the most commonly produced mushroom in the world. It's also a cremini mushroom and a portobello mushroom if you give it long enough, right? So it's the same mushroom. All three of them are the same ones. You'll find the baby bellas. Those are overgrown creminis, but they're not quite big enough to be portobellas. So instead of wasting it, they sell it to you as baby bellas, But it's the same thing. It's the same mushroom. And so that's one of the things that we really appreciate about them is really their versatility, right? Different ages in its life, right? Like one child said, they're alive, right? They are organisms just like us that require certain conditions to thrive. And so most of the commercially bought mushrooms that you get are grown on some kind of sterile or at least pasteurized substrate, right? So the things that you see on them isn't dirt, right? It's the different substrates. And so instead of adding more water, because they're also sponges, right? So everything, most of the mushroom is water, right? And so when you have that experience of that slimy mushroom, this hasn't been cooked right? It hasn't been cooked long enough. And so they have to lose their moisture in order to be able to cook. And so what a lot of people do is when they start, I'll back up. This is how the mushroom starts, right? I use a brush to get a lot of that substrate off instead of adding more moisture to it that needs to be cooked off, especially if I'm hungry, right? And so any brush will do. But then, again, we started as a way to try to replicate meat, right? That was our thing. And so when you slice the mushroom, it's a little bit sliced, right? So what we do is we spread them apart, right? And I went through that earlier so that I can spare you guys watching me do that. But literally just spread them apart with our hands, and it's actually a little bit of a stress reliever, so you get to just like rip something apart, right? It's literally just put them all apart. And I started to preheat the pan here, because you want to put them on with high heat. And so just pour them in. And you might be thinking like, well, why isn't he prepping it with like oil or anything like that? Because they're not cooking yet, right? So you want them to go through that sweating process. We use kosher salt, and really playing with salt has become, for me in cooking, playing with salt has been something that it really brings out the flavors of those whole foods that I said was that we're really integrating into our diet. It's amazing how good food tastes, and you don't really need much to emphasize that, especially when the food's been grown correctly, right? And so instead of sitting here watching these cook, right, we're gonna go ahead and pass out some tamales for you guys.
Oh yes.
And so,
I have a question.
yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, yeah, any questions, go ahead.
The mushrooms that you cook with, are some better raw than cooked, like with nutrients? Is it better to leave raw than cooking, or?
You know, I'll be honest with you, I don't eat mushrooms raw very much. I usually cook them. I am sure you can find people who would eat them raw, but not it. You know?
Okay.
I don't know.
He said not it.
Yeah. You can see here though how they're already starting to release a lot of that water. So this is that sweating process. And so for people, we do use corn oil. People that want to stay away from oil, there's a lot of people that do. You can just keep adding water, and it would take longer for them to cook, obviously, because you keep hydrating them. But it also is a method of letting that happen. You just want to make sure that all the mushrooms are touching the pan, and now you're going to lose about 30% of the volume, right? So if you go buy a pound, you're only going to have like 7 cents of a pound at the end of it, because there's so much water in them. So,
now, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Is the sweating process, is that applied to all kinds of mushrooms that you cook?
yeah, all of them are very, they're all spongy for the most part. And so, so even our lion's mane that we cook, we take that through a process where, once we let a lot of the water that it has come out, then we have like this marinated butter that we use to have that kind of get absorbed, and that's what makes it like a steak almost, because of the lion's mane, just how it is, it's very dense.
Yeah.
And so it absorbs a lot of what it loses. And so, there's really a lot of ways that you can play with it. These, I feel like, so I have samples. We've been cooking these in the oven. You can also put them in the oven, right? And
Now, how's the process for sweating them in the oven versus the
just
stove?
leave them in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, in a commercial oven, it takes 15 minutes and they're ready, right? In your conventional oven at home, it's definitely not going to, it's going to take a lot longer than that. And so, we've been, how long have we been in there for now? An hour?
Since when the panel ended, so an hour.
An hour. And I gotta check that. But they go through that same process in the oven. The oven just evaporates it quicker. See?
So the tamal you're enjoying right now is our tamal magico. It's a marinated mushroom tamal. So same thing, we take the white pine mushroom, we marinate it with our signature marinade. So think of an enchilada sauce, right? All those nice chiles, all the spices that you would expect in traditional Mexican cuisine. The cumin, the oregano, the garlic, right? You make that marinade. So we marinate the mushrooms just to give it that flavor. Because like we said, mushroom is nature's meat. So just like meat, you could cook it the same way that you're traditionally used to. So marinate it, cook it in butter, grill it, kebab it, whatever you want to do, you could literally do. I've made meatloaf with mushrooms. Yes, and so there's so much to explore, and we like to call it as veganizing something, right? Like take the meat out, here's our meat replacement, and that's all you need.
Can we have one more?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, they're coming.
Let me know if you need more.
Okay. Woo. I'm excited.
So tamales, tacos, we like to make these things that are traditionally very meat heavy.
Our pozole.
Yep, and show you a way to enjoy it without that meat, right? Did someone need a tamal? Pass it down, por favor.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Is there a specific mushroom? I feel like you were saying something about veganizing it, right? Like I see a lot. Like I'm friends with Nana from the Chicago Vegan Test
Yeah,
Kitchen.
shout out to Nana.
Yeah,
She's
shout out to
amazing.
Chicago Vegan Test Kitchen if y'all don't know. Get
Check
involved with
them
that.
out. They're
Yes. What I was gonna say is there's a lot of people like even chicken wings, like they're mushroom, but they're vegan. Is that mushroom? Is there a specific mushroom that's more like chicken?
Yes. So like the oyster mushroom gets to be a little bit more. I like to use it for carnitas.
What else
Those
did you
Mexicans
say?
in the room. I like to desmenuzarlo. You shred
They
it.
seasoned it.
You season it with oil and
Anybody else need
cumin and
some?
spices, and it's the same thing. You put it in the oven. Oyster mushrooms. Oyster mushrooms. And there's a million types of variety of oyster mushrooms. So you can
There's
get
some more samples
pink,
over
blue,
there.
whatever. Get the cheaper one, right? I mean, obviously, these mushrooms that we play with tend to be kind of the baseline or foundational. So these are ones that are more accessible, least expensive. Once you go to the gourmet ones in culinary, they start to be a little pricier because they have a little more fancy. So you can definitely use oyster mushrooms for that. I've seen oyster mushrooms being used for wings, for nuggets.
I waited. Good thing I waited. You should have hated it part. You want some sauce for it?
Get that done in the garden.
I hope you ate slow. Slow down. Slow down. You're not gonna have enough. Slow down.
No, I wanted to say really quick.
Do you remember what mushroom?
So the raw one, the question about raw. So Royce is the chef, so he's over here also saying my takis and things like that for chicken.
Yeah, Handerwood. Lion's Mane is a good one. But I think they use that for
Steak.
I think they use that for chicken too, because of the texture on it.
Yeah, the good thing about the lion's mane is that it absorbs whatever flavor. And so we use it as steak over there, but yeah, I've seen it as chicken, depending on what they season it with, you know?
But what I was gonna say, we grew some pink oysters a year or so ago. I gotta get back into it, but 2 years maybe. Anyway. But to your point, we pickled them. We pickled them instead of so it's like warm pickling liquid. But we pickled them, and I love them on my salad. So it's like or on a salad. Yes. So the raw. That's probably the only way I would, but that was sexy. Like we had that for like summer. Yeah, I gotta get back into
Let me
it.
know when you do it.
Huh?
Let me know when you do it.
I will.
So one of the good things about it that we noticed about cooking them in the oven is that the longer you leave them in there, like they taste like something different, right? So like, you know, this one if you leave it in there long enough, it starts tasting like chorizo, right? And depending on how you season it with, like you'll start getting that texture, especially in the oven. Yeah. So like,
Is this still just?
yeah, this is still just going, like it's still, you know.
And it's water.
Can I have a refill of this too?
Well, I already put a little oil in it. Yeah, I put a little oil in there already, but yeah, they have so much water.
Oh, so you just go oil? Or do you,
once a week.
Do I boil them first?
a little bit, yeah.
No, so I put them in there for them to sweat.
Just oil.
And just their water, yeah, and then just put a little oil in it.
Oh, you use the salt. Okay.
Oh yeah, salt. The seasoning, yeah, salt.
Okay. No, I just we'll talk. We'll do chef talk. I'm just curious.
Can I have more of those?
Of course.
Man, that sauce is crazy.
Carlos, have you hit my change on mushrooms yet?
Goes crazy, right?
Oh
yes.
Yeah.
They got like a perfect spice to it.
Yeah, of course.
Oh yes. Thank you.
Just to get on the char.
You know, I wasn't a mushroom person. Now,
Oh,
you gonna dip it?
like the little chicharrones. Because it gets called like that.
Chicharrón, go check out that new carnitas Uruapan and Little Village. That's probably wrong. Let me get a little bit of that player.
Yeah, it's amazing. The people choose their own
This
thing.
is our take on the red tamal. The traditional red tamal would be with pork.
You could wet tamale, needed that. That green chicken. And I need the sauce. I need the sauce to make my hands a mess. Like I don't care. Give me that green. I need that extra wet.
Yes.
The same way I get my chicken wings at B-Dubs. Extra wet. Extra.
What kind of mushrooms are you saying?
Soak the
Try a
bag.
white button.
White dog.
So the one that I had at the very beginning, same thing.
She gone.
All right. So
Anybody else want the salsa?
Yep.
It's about to be gone.
Dan's gonna have that for sale by next week. Ain't that right, Dan?
Please.
I've been waiting,
I'll buy it.
What if the green sauce is on this?
Give the people what they want.
Nah, for real, Dan. You should. Like, it's good.
The boy over here be too shy to do modest. And the point of all of this is just to show you how dope my friends are. Give it up for everybody.
All right, who wants to try the ones that came off the pan?
Yeah, I'm down.
You want to try the ones off the pan?
Yes, sir. Did these get marinated with anything or? A little oil? No, yeah.
Salt and oil.
Ooh, that's so delicious. Thank you so much. I'm gonna say, let me just make a little roll. Turn it. I'ma slide
Anybody
this
else try that
in.
little cup?
Oh yes, thank you. Okay, mushrooms out the oven, a bus. Tamale, a bus. The ones out the pan. A bus, correct. Tamales, a bus.
Oh no.
Trout.
One is our criteria marinated. This is literally just salt. Okay.
It's good.
And
Is it good? It's so good, guys. So
Okay.
good.
I was recording myself eating.
Royce,
I'm
giving it a thumbs up. Right.
When it makes you dance, you know it's good.
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes. Yes. I'm so happy about this. We can feel the love that it was made with too.
Absolutely.
They thought about me.
Oh yeah.
They really considered me. Right.
He said, oh yeah, damn. This is true conversion therapy. He said he was not dealing with no mushrooms before, and now he has changed his mind. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God.
About an hour in the oven.
It's awesome.
He said, oh, I ain't really dealing with no mushrooms. Then he was like, yeah, this gonna be good down here.
Right. He did say that. He did. Look at him. I think this is the second one now.
That's a good picture of an empty plate and the chef. Okay, you should have been here.
Yeah.
What?
Pound for pound, have the same protein as beef.
Wow.
Crazy.
Fiber, right? There's a lot of your fiber. So if you're worried about your protein, like you should get it for this. Like she said, she makes I make a ground meat out of them. So soak walnut, or any kind of nut, really, if you're not allergic to it. I don't really have an alternative for that one off the top of my head, but yeah, so you soak that for a few hours, and then you can blend a bunch of this up if you don't have a food processor, and then blend them up separately, and then put them together. But if you do have a food processor, You can put the walnut in with the mushroom. People use lion's mane because it's very meaty. You can use these mushrooms too. I mean, we don't waste any of the mushroom. We use the whole stem. Sometimes you'll see the node at the end of it that has the substrate. You just cut that part off. You can use the whole mushroom. I didn't. You guys saw, like I just tear it apart. I use the stem. I use the cap. You know, all of it together. So none of it.
None of it is
very good
wasted.
value. Right, and I think it's a really good value, right? You don't have fat you got to trim off, right? It doesn't cause inflammation. It actually helps to flush a lot of that inflammation. So there's still a lot of things that we're learning about mushrooms and all of the different components that make it up. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a try.
Thank you. Okay, so it was awesome. I loved it. Yeah, it was more than I could have ever asked for. Honestly, I did not think that was going to be my experience. And that's a good thing. Like, you know how you go to events and you be like, oh, it's probably gonna be like this, it's probably gonna be like this. No, it was nothing like what I thought it was gonna be, which was a good thing. Great space, met some amazing people, sold a lot of merch, almost completely sold out of the keychains. And I was like, oh my God, y'all really love these keychains. Like, the keychains, they eat. I'm not gonna hold y'all, the keychains do eat. But should I sell out of them? I will be restocking them. The people that I met today, they were just so sweet. I got so many compliments on all of my Mushie Buddy gear. And so it's just refreshing to get that back. I put a lot of time, effort, energy, and good thought into just like making cute, nice, high quality things, and they were received so well. I'm excited. This was so good. This was so good. This was so good. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I hope that you have liked all the videos from this. I wish I could have jam-packed everything in, but I could not just get everything into one video. Like, I got to think about the attention span of the viewer as well. So that's why I split this up into multiple segments so that, you know, it would be easily digestible. I did run out of storage space on the panel. The panel was very good. Okay, thumbs up on the panel. But